Welcome everyone, back with AOR. It's the penultimate round here in Dubai. Not the Dubai that everyone thinks of when they think F1, the other Dubai circuit. The one that only really hosts the 24-hour races. Yeah. We're here at round 9, it's technically the 11th race of the season. Of course, we've had double races this season at 2 events. Yeah, picturesque. It is night time as Danny's very slidey. We have heard some complaints from the drivers about the track conditions. That they are slidey and skiddy and the tyres don't like it. You can see Danny's struggling even on an outlap. Of course, he will need to get his tyres up to temperature. We don't normally see this. We don't normally see weaving on the straight either, but he is resorting to it. As he is about halfway through the middle sector. Of course, this is qualifying. We have qualifying this week. This is a standard format event, unlike last week. A bit different from last season. We've mixed it up with multiple races in one event, reverse championship races and whatnot. We didn't really have last season. Pren still in the pits. It's going to be Danny first to set his lap time. See Dubai in the background. All the buildings lit up, but he comes around the final corner, slides around the final corner. He's going to power down this main straight. And keep it left to open up turn 1, dart towards the apex. And keep it right out of here, open up this left-hander. And sort of same for most of the section. Keep it left and then there's sort of double right. You've got to pull it back right because there's a left-hander into a right-hander. Quite a tight first left-hander. And then this second one. And onto this banked left, which counts as 2 corners. This is technically turn 8, and then this bit is turn 9. Of course, this whole first bit is the GP loop. Otherwise the national rejoins there on the right. And down this back straight. This straight into the next corner is going to be probably the best overtaking zone in the track. This tight right hairpin. Pick your braking point. Danny's gone a bit hot in, but in this case you keep it right. Throw it in, just avoid some of these curbs because they are raised curbs. A bit hot in from Danny. He's almost sort of cutting back on the apex. And it's a blast downhill. Into this left-hander. Followed by another very tight left. And like with most of the lap, you come out of the corner, bring it back to the left because there's then a right-hander. Thankfully you can stick to a somewhat normal racing line here, as it is another right-hander. Relatively flat curb, so you can use quite a lot of it. But Danny slides his way around the final corner. And he's beaten by 2.4 seconds by Schwantz. So, not a great lap from Danny. Didn't look great. Mr. Kexalski's gone even slower at that. He's already returned, so he must have made a mistake. That must just be a banker that he's put in. Vance goes third, Gilo then demotes him down. Spence goes second, Berno goes third. Marty goes sixth. Archie's going to be next. Then Chicano, who's on an outlap. And Cart He will come around the final corner. What can he do? It's an outlap. Nobody can touch Schwantz at the moment. Bit deep in from Slicker. Where are we going to see that Lamborghini? Where will it go on the grid? There's a big spread right now. Everyone's struggling very, very much with the conditions. And that's invalidated his time a bit too wide out the final corner. And he knows it, he's had to return. Pren hopefully hasn't invalidated this one. Has just 2 corners to go, including this near enough flat right-hander. Through the final turn. It doesn't run wide. I put the Ferrari outlap, or invalidated, because I don't think he returned to the pits after his first run. So that's not ideal for the Ferrari driver. Chicano, a good bit up. Where's he gonna slot his Ferrari? Wunz, in the meantime, is the only one to break within 1 second of Schwantz. He is second. Mr. still in the pits, so no immediate rush for him, despite being second slowest of those who have set a time. What about Chicano? He's on for a big improvement. 14.2 seconds. He jumps up to second place. So that's a good lap from the Lamborghini driver in that Barwell Motorsport livery. Archie getting out of others' ways. Let's see who is in the final sector. It's Danny, whether he's on a lap or not. Stick with him just in case. He finds himself in P6. I mean, realistically for himself, he's going to need Mr. Gdalski to stay where he is in the standings, because as much as it is unlikely he can win the championship, I'm sure he's not going to give up. Now, I've not been made aware of, or I don't think so, of who needs what, or what Mr. Gdalski needs to win the title if he can tonight. I think he can. He has a decent lead. 57 points in the standings. Danny doesn't improve. Someone did. I think that was Brent. He put himself up to 5th place. So it is only Slicker to set a lap. He's just started one. There's a few cars ahead of him, but Schwantz improves. 56-0. So he's put a bit more daylight between the cars behind him. Chicano and Wunz only ones within a second. Spence in 4th is 1.4 seconds off. Gilo has had his lap invalidated. No movement still from Mr. Gdalski in the Mercedes. Bit odd. He has a lot of fuel in. What can Slicker do? Still only car to set a lap. Or not set a lap, sorry. With such a big spread, he could slot in absolutely anywhere. Still Mr. Gdalski in the pits. Are we going to see him out late? He has a lot of fuel in his car, which suggests his lap is a full fuel lap. And Slicker, oh well, still no lap time. It was definitely not an outlap. Marty in the middle sector. Trying to see if there's anything on the AOR site that tells me about the points. Can't seem to find it while also trying to focus on this. Let's see if I can get a quick response from one of the drivers in between. In between race and quali, in the minutes where they set everything up. Slicker is out the pits. Still no movement from that Mercedes. It needs to leave soon if he's going to set a time. The only thing I can possibly think of is Archie's round out of the penultimate corner. He has fuel and time to go for another one. Waits for that car, I believe that was Vuntz, to go through. Yeah, the only thing I can think that Mr. Keksalski is doing is maybe he thinks it's so basically wrapped up that he just wants to start from the back and have some fun. Unless I've missed anything in the stewards. I'll check. No, nothing. In fact, Schwantz is even more improved, 55.8. What can this man in the Lamborghini or Vuntz in the Mercedes do? Can anyone stop Schwantz on his charge? Mr. Keksalski is not qualifying. Nothing in the stewards. I'm trying to work out what the point system would be, whether it's like the F1 style system, but the fact that Mr. Keksalski has about 350 points after 10 races, that doesn't suggest it. So maybe it's about 50 for a win, and he only has 50, just over 50 over Danny. So ideally, Danny needs to move up. In fact, he's going to be next car to come around the corner. Oh, and he's ruined it, so it's P8 at best for the Mercedes driver. Archie's ruined his lap. Vuntz, he's gonna get this lap and another. His orange Mercedes fitting for him as he is Dutch. Can't improve. What about Pren? As we're in the dying seconds qualifying. I think Pren and Chicano might be the last cars to get a second lap in. I'm not sure if the car, whoever it is behind Chicano, will. Pren, no improvement. Car behind Chicano might just, I don't know, it's not going to. Chicano is going to just get a lap in. No improvement, has fuel to go again. Marty is up. Berno looks like he had a bit of a slide into that turn. We'll see these cars finishing their laps, and then we'll focus on second, third, and fourth. Berno's lap is over. So Berno not going to improve, got it invalidated. What about Marty? Sits in P7, little wiggle through the final corner. He was slightly up. Goes fourth. Well, that Slicker threw it away at the final corner, it seems. What about Gilo, P11? So it's been not a great session for Slicker, Danny, or whatever Mr. Kakzalski is doing. And now it is on these three: Chicano, Vunt, and Pren. I don't think Vunt is going to be taking pole with that corner. But it is only these three to set a time. And that's over. What about Pren's Ferrari? Can even retake his P4 from Marty. He powers the final to the line. And, well, it's over. Chicano must have given up on his lap or invalidated it. But Pren does retake the place from Marty to go P4. So, Schwantz takes pole position by almost a second from Chicano. I'll see if I can get an answer from anyone. As quali is over, see if anyone has a moment to answer me as what the who needs what. I think if it's 50 for a win, I think it's just a case of Mr. Kakzalski just finish ahead of Danny, and Danny with an off qualifying in P8. So yeah, there's your front row and the whole grid, a big spread. Mr. Kakzalski only doing one lap on high fuel for some reason. So he'll be P12 ahead of Slicker, who failed to get a lap in. Gilo, the two Audis, Danny with an off session, and then everyone else roughly about where you expect them to be, maybe within a few places. That's that sort of midfield. I just hope the race spread isn't that big. Otherwise, it's gonna be a tad dull. But for those championship standings I was on about, Mr. Kakzalski with 354 points, 57 ahead of Danny. Schwantz is a further 44 behind, 12 to Chicano. So Chicano could get in the sort of podium positions for the championship, although his rival is on pole position. 212 points for Pren, 202 for Cart, 189 for Spence, Vance with 143, so a bit of a gap there. It looks like Spence is safe. But he's just 1 point ahead of Archie. Then Marty on 129, 5 ahead of Gilo, 109 for Slicker, and then the two new guys, Berno on 49, and then we should have LSD High here, but he is not. So we will have 29 laps of racing. So we'll get their formation lap underway. They will form up on that sort of left kink just after the end of Sector 2 line. You can see it on the map in the top right corner. And then the acceleration zone is pretty much just out the final corner after the end of a green strip on the right. You can see those green strips there all across the side of the track. But as Schwantz on pole, Chicano will have eyes for the Mercedes, with a battle for third place going on. I got no answer about champion, so who knows? There's Slicker and Mr. Kagzalski. Mr. Kagzalski. Something either happening or he wants some fun from the back. And if that's the case, I'm sure he'll be delighted to see Danny in P8. As if Mr. Kagzalski had a bad race, you know, maybe had a crash at the start or anything, and Danny with a good result could have upset him. But it is back to Schwantz. He will lead them off. We are approaching the formation zone. He'll be coming up any second now. It's sort of a bridge slash kink. You can see he slows down. Picks the right hand side. Chicano will go on the left on his outside. Now look for the green strip on the right. As soon as that ends, Schwantz can go. You see it there. So he can pretty much go any time now. And he's gone. There's a big gap sort of formed in the middle of the field. But Schwantz gets a good start. Chicano might be under pressure here from Wundt and Pren. As you're going to call being in the middle, he gets through it nicely. Car and Danny. And that's someone off, that is Gilo. And there's a Audi there, that is Berno. So two cars off in the wall. Gilo's got going. Berno looks like he's sustained a good bit of damage. Mr. Kagzalski already behind Danny. Mr. Kagzalski down the inside, bit of a nudge, and he's already ahead of his rival. Schwantz drives away with this one so far. Chicano gonna try and apply pressure. He's starting to spread out a little bit now. It's starting to settle down. His car gonna try and move on Spence into this hairpin, probably the best overtaking point of the track. He pulls out. Certainly braked a bit deeper. Goes down the inside. Now is Mr. Kagzalski gonna try and profit from this? Could he try go around the outside of this right-hander? It's not impossible. It's a good corner to try and do it. But thinks better of it. But towards the end of lap 1, it is still Schwantz who leads from Chicano. He's not dropped that Lamborghini though. He's hot on his heels. He will come around the final corner to lead the first lap. And that is Vance in the pits. That looked like Mr. Kexalski trying something on Spence. He gets down the inside of the final turn. That should be the move made into T1. As it is, as much as Spence tries to fight it. The championship leader is up into 6th place. So we had Vance, Archie and Gilo in the pits. These two side by side coming out. Who's going to be the car ahead? Gilo's jumped him. He got off the limiter earlier. Down the back straight they go. Schwantz has opened that gap up just a little bit. And Mr. Kexalski is up to 6th, or 5th, sorry, so he's passed Cart. Perhaps Cart, knowing that it's not a driver he should really fight with or hold him up unnecessarily if he's his teammate. A bit deep, almost a chance for Spence, but nothing doing. What about Danny? Is there a chance for him on the Gulf Mercedes? And go side by side into 2 left-handers, but if Danny can stay there, it's going to turn back into a right-hander. Or he can go all the way around the outside. No, he's gone a bit too hot. The Mercedes is going to stay ahead. Or is it? Danny's had a far superior exit. He is down the inside of turn 15. Spence takes to the pit lane. I imagine that is tactical. That'll promote Slicker to P8. Now Mr. Kexalski on the back of Marty, who's managed to pick up a penalty of 1 second. There was also complaints about the track limits around here, how they were harsh. Into turn 8, then to the banked turn 9. I always hated this corner, I could never get it right. I seem to always lose time to my rivals. And Marty's gone a bit wide. Is this going to be all the encouragement Mr. Kexalski needs? A good chunk of slipstream and down to that hairpin. Marty's opened the door slightly and re-shuts it. Can Mr. Kexalski go all the way around the outside? No, Marty parks in the apex to stop a switchback. Mr. Kexalski tries another one. I think Marty has fended that one off for now. I think it's a case of when, not if. Or is he going to do a repeat of what Danny just did to Spence? Not quite, I think he was too close to the back of the Ferrari to put any real power down. What about a move into turn 1? He's certainly close enough out the final turn. Marty feels the need to go defensive. That's going to Kexalski to the outside. Is he going to go clean around the outside? It looks like he might just. Is Marty going to get the superior momentum? Oh, that corner tightened up to the point Mr. Kexalski had to brake. Is that going to allow Cart to nose down the inside? No, Cart lets his teammate go. Some good defending going on from Marty. It's probably not what Mr. Kexalski wants to see, but I'm sure he's enjoying having a good fight. Chicano is now starting to drop just a little bit off the back of that Mercedes. Gets his nose down the inside at 10, nothing doing into 11, but a bit of a switch back. Is it on? Going to try around the outside of 12. It's not a good exit. Is he going to be able to do a better job than last time? Into 14. Out of 14 into 15. Goes around the outside. Goes for a switch back. But again, Marty's putting his Ferrari in all the right places. It is some good defending from the Ferrari. It will certainly be frustrating the Mercedes behind. Does he go for a dive bomb? Oh, thought about it. Looked almost like there was going to be contact. Perhaps a pass into this GP loop. I was never a fan of this section. I preferred the track that went right out of turn 1 and rejoined on the main straight. Section just seems so fiddly and slow. And now Danny is getting involved, and is this Mr. Keksalski's chance? He gets a nose down the inside into 9. But can Marty retaliate in any way? Going to be side by side down the straight, all the way down to turn 10. They're banging doors on the straight. Marty gets down the inside, he goes a bit deep. That's going to allow Cart through, is it? Again, I don't think Cart really is going to try and fight Mr. Keksalski too hard. This is some good racing between these two. And the 55 Kaspersky Ferrari and the 123 Cachot Mercedes. I wish Project Cars did more real liveries. It's difficult with these fictional ones, although some are very nice. Marty not defending this time into 14. Doesn't feel the need to, although he should get a better drive there. No, he doesn't, and that is finally Mr. Keksalski through. And is Carter going to get a nose down the inside of 16? Side by side, Marty's gone wide. He's going to chase the slip through Mr. Keksalski, helping his teammate. You can see those two clearly work together and help each other. Marty almost tried to round the outside, almost into the back of the Mercedes. Now he's back down the inside, and he's going to retake it. And he has. This is a brilliant racing from Marty in these two Mercedes. Mr. Keksalski has scampered away. Now, can Cart take inspiration from seeing his teammate go round the outside? No chance for him yet. This is actually bringing Slicker into play. Slicker not involved in all this fighting. You can see their pace relative to minute 2 dead for Marty. It's 3.5 seconds slower than what Schwantz and Chicano are doing up front. Speaking of them, as I said, Schwantz was dropping Chicano. It's stabilised at about a second. So who knows, this might go down to strategy. Is still Cart trying to make a way past the Ferrari. Doesn't look like any opportunities are opening themselves up just yet. Marty doing a great defensive job. Now this is Chicano's, well, you'd say, unless Mr. Exalti can get involved, best chance for win since Rapuna, where he did win. That one was helped by strategy. After a lap 1 crash, he pitted and avoided all the chaos that went on in the midfield. This time he actually has the pace to, well, not that he didn't at Rapuna, but this time he's actually up the front fighting for it, not the charge through from the back with it waiting for everyone else to pit. Well, that's a bit deep for Marty. Switch back from Cart. They try around the outside, not quite. How long until Slicker starts trying to have a go? This is a good chance, he's close onto the straight. Marty defends it late. He's had a little bit of a wiggle in turn 1, nothing that Cart can capitalise on though. So he keeps his lead. Lead of P5, not lead of the race. These guys with all the squabbling are dropping off pretty quick. Miska Gzalski's setting a great pace in the 57s. So I mean, even from 12th of the grid, don't rule him out of the win. Unbelievably fast this season, but does have a mistake or two in him, so that Donington and Rapuna. And Monaco, when he slammed into the back of his teammate with a few laps to go, not getting a Cart's rear wing off. Not what you want around Monaco, reduced downforce. But Cart is gonna be getting frustrated. He'll probably sitting thinking, I can go 1 or 1.5 seconds quicker at least. And yeah, it's Marty could probably go quicker, but he's having to go defensive. It seems turn 1 and turn 10 hairpin are the closest that Cart gets. Marty determined not to lose the position, always jinx right. No way Cart can go around the outside there. Oh, almost a little slide out of 2. Just on the inside curb. Oh, it's almost an inviting prospect for Slicker in the Lamborghini behind. But up front, that is Schwant's lead. You can see the top 4 all in shot. This fight now gets onto the main straight. Oh, that might just be Cart's chance. Oh, has he had to slow down too much to avoid the Ferrari? I think Marty is just going to get away with that one. He went in hot, but Cart had to avoid him. Cart switches to the inside for 12. Nothing he can do. Marty parks on the apex. The Cart is going to have a good run down towards turn 14. Seen quite a few moves here already. He has the inside. He throws it down. Does Marty have any answer? No, and it looks like Cart has finally made the move up into P5. And you know what? Those guys that stopped early, they might be having a good shout. Vunt's doing a 58.6. That is comparable to the race leaders, and is a good lot quicker than this lot are doing, so it might be a smart move. Only 16 seconds behind them, and of course Vunt's has pitted. And Vunt's is the first of the cars to have pitted. Of course Berno, I don't think he did after his first lap incident. Is Slicker going to be able to have any sort of go at Marty? Gilo is close to the red and white Audi of Archie. In fact, Slicker already has a decent chance. Is he going to try it down the inside into 10? Oh, Marty is going way too hot. Oh, well, Slicker has done that job much quicker than anyone else did. Marty's going to try back down the inside of 11. But Marty's bad start from P5 in the grid. I mean, he looks like he could be, well, I mean, maybe net P9 or 10 as it stands. I'd say P9, of course. Berno hasn't pitted, but that leaves Marty second last of the cars not to pit, so he needs to be careful of the likes of Vunt, Spence and Danny. Vunt, I think, is a given that he's going to get past them. He's setting a great pace. Spence and Danny, who knows? And he does pit. Where are these guys? Vunt's, yeah, he's going to be ahead. He's coming around 14 into 15. What about these two? These guys are quite close. I'd say. I think they're going to have it too. Marty is in his box. He starts moving. These guys are coming on to the pit straight and down it. They've got him. It might be close actually between Marty and Archie. Here comes the Audi. And well, that's not a great sign for Marty. I think right now, the only car he's realistically getting ahead of that hasn't pitted is Berno, so he's looking at net P10 unless Archie can demote him down a further one. Or if Marty, now that he's not fighting everyone, can set a good pace, unless Archie then decides he wants to scrap over P11. Slicker still sitting in the car. Schwantz has his good lead. He's pulled away a bit more of a Chicano. It's approaching the 3-second mark. So Chicano will not be too pleased at that one, seeing his well, championship rival for P3 in the lead. Of course, Chicano not able to match last season, where he was in the title fight until, well, they crossed the line at Spa when the season ended. Not been able to reproduce that this season. He has shown a few moments of why he was in a title fight, but we want to add a win here tonight in the Middle East. I do apologise, by the way, if I sound funny. I am a bit ill. Not what you're thinking, no. Just a bit of a cold. So yeah, not what you're thinking. So, Vance, 58-3. Where is he gonna play into things? I mean, he's 19 seconds ahead of Marty. Marty was, you know, about where Slicker was. Who's not going to rely on Vance for, you know, sort of third or fourth? As we've lost a car, I think that was Gilo retiring from the race. He was 13th and last. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where, later on in the race, Vance plays into things. Mr. Keksalski is closing the gap to Pren. He was 8/10 quicker on the last lap. A very similar lap between the two race leaders. In fact, it's gone basically perfect for Vance. So he got to about 2 seconds behind Berno, and Berno pitted. So that's about as perfect as you can get. So we're just a couple of laps from the halfway point of this race. But inside the cockpit, the Mercedes lit up that big screen, which is even more noticeable in these nighttime conditions. Of course, everyone associates this track with darkness, as it is used for the Hankook 24 hours. The only sort of noticeable event that this track is used for is kind of overshadowed by the other track in Dubai. Of course, most Formula 1 and all its feeder series and World Rallycross and stuff like that. So this track a bit overshadowed, still a great track. I'd say to drive and race, this is certainly better than the other track. Yeah, quite overshadowed. Of course, as the Porsche cars like to do, little black spots on the track as we follow the drivers. Well, Mr. Keksalski is on the hunt for P3. P3 as it stands. Looks like the only one who'll be able to challenge that P3 is Vance, depending on where he rejoins. He is when everyone else pits. How far is he behind these two? He's about 26 seconds. It's not impossible. I think if Mr. Keksalski can break Pren and start doing more mid-57s, he might be okay. Mr. Keksalski still applying the pressure as they come out of turn 12. No attempt into 14, although there was perhaps a tiny gap. There's Chicano actually just ahead. He's struggling just a little bit to hold on to Schwantz, and he'll be praying that the Ferrari behind him keeps the black and white Mercedes even farther behind him. 59.6 from Chicano. He really struggled that lap. Even stuck behind traffic. That's over a second slower than what Mr. Kwiatkowski achieved. And that was 1.3 seconds off his best lap. It's very close into this section. Any chance for a move on Pren? Just maybe force Pren a bit wide. It's very hard to overtake around this section. It's so fast and flowing, the lines are constantly changing. But he does get down the inside through 6 into 7. Is Pren going to fight back? No. So that is Mr. Kwiatkowski up into P3. It was a good move out of 6 into 7 for the Mercedes driver, and now his chances of a win are increasing every time he passes a car, as they do, you know, but he's getting past the cars that he needs to quite quickly, which is crucial. Of course, the farther you get up the field, the harder cars are to pass. But it will be Chicano up next for Mr. Kwiatkowski. Chicano, who is almost out the title fight, or is basically out the title fight. He'll be looking at P3, as I've reiterated. Looking at Schwantz up ahead, hoping that he sees that Mercedes, you know, around or backwards, or perhaps in a wall somewhere. You never know which L competitors, but you always want the best results for yourself. You want to beat your rivals. That's why Mr. Kwiatkowski, considering he started from last, will be pretty happy with seeing Danny in P9. Because if the points are what I think they are, which is 50 for a win, then he'll be champion. But like I said, I can't seem to find anywhere that tells me what the points are. Like if I click on, yeah, it's 50 for a win. I've managed to find it. So as things stand, Mr. Kwiatkowski would be champion. He basically just needs to beat Danny and it's over. But there's 45 seconds between the pair, so to say that it looks unlikely is an understatement. Archie hasn't really let Marty go since the stops. He's still clinging on to that Ferrari. Marty not really doing the pace he needs. 59.5's not if he wants to get... well, it's about the same as Cart and Slicker. But he's not increasing his chances of getting ahead of them. Wundt is setting the exact same times as Schwantz and Chicano. So as things stand, I think Wundt might be looking at P4. His pace is very good. Had an early stop, I guess. That's becoming a strategic option this season. Archie and Marty, the two closest cars on track, going through turn 12 on lap 17. The leaders are starting lap 18. But, apparently Mr. Gexalski is 2.4 behind Chicano, which he is. So I was looking at the wrong cars on track. You can see there in the back straight I wasn't noticing red dots. I thought they were cars going through the GP loop. For some reason my brain miscalculated. I'm sure if you've watched my commentary long enough, I say stupid things. But generally I correct myself, so it's fine. Danny is closed on Spence. In fact, what chance is there? I mean, if Danny stays in about this position, what chance is there that Schwantz gets onto him? It's not impossible. 44 points in it. So say if Schwantz won this race, he gets 50. If Danny finishes in about P9, what does P9 get you? P9 gets you 11 points. So that'll put 5 points between them. So as it stands, Schwantz might have a shot at P2 in the title. Of course, both Hot Wheels Mercedes teammates, as Danny is amping up the pressure on Spence. Perhaps he knows that even his P2 is under threat, as his championship seems all but over. Now, Pren is in. Where does he rejoin relative to Vance? Pren is quite a bit behind. Oh no, sorry, he's not. It was showing a bit different there. So, Vance is ahead of Pren. So that is interesting for the rest of the race. And this is going to be Danny ahead of Spence, you would think. He's got a better run out the final turn. Archie still not off the back of Marty. We can see the two fighting Mercedes ahead of them. Do they have the pace to catch and pass them though, is the big question. This action the closest on track. As I say that, Mr. Kagzalski's little notification thing has popped up to say he's on the back of Chicano, or within 1.2 seconds. But right now, in this immediate moment, it's about can the Ferrari and can the Audi close down on the Mercedes ahead? If Mr. Kagzalski can win this race, then, well, he's truly deserved it. Championship and all. There it is, there's P2 for Mr. Kagzalski, 9/10 up the road. And not too far in the distance. If you can see, P1 4.6 seconds ahead of him. Looks like we're going to have 10 to go when they cross the line. There's still a few cars to pit. Yeah, top 5 still all to pit. So where would they be once it's all shaken out? Vunt is looking a strong contender. So maybe even, who knows, jump Chicano. He's definitely going to be P4 at least. Can he upset one of this top 3? I don't see him beating Schwantz, but Chicano is a maybe. There's 30 seconds between them. So someone has come into the pits, that is Slicker. That's going to promote Vuntz up. And now Mr. Pixelsi is close. He's been doing very well in clearing traffic. Not traffic, but cars that he's tried to pass very quickly this race. Can he do the same to the Demon Tweaks Lamborghini? The number 33 Barwell Motorsport car. Hasn't been able to make any sort of move yet. Archie at the back will be hoping that he can make some sort of moves, otherwise it's going to be an Audi last row. Now this is Mr. Kowalski's best chance so far is going to be in the outside for 14. Chicano was just able to power back ahead though. Some good straight line speed on show from the Huracan. That is an interesting line from Mr. Kowalski. Now, as for penalties, 1 second runs, 10 for Danny, 3 for Marty, and Berno has some, but as it stands, they're not going to make any difference to his race. Now, this fighting is going to be ideal for Vunt if he's going to have any way of trying to pass one of these cars in the pits. I think as it stands, Chicano is the more likely. Oh, where is Chicano? Well, that's going to help Vuntz's chances. Chicano got turn 1 all wrong, had to go over the inside of turn 2. And that gap that was 30 seconds is now about 27-28. Car in the pits. The car was about 20 seconds behind these front runners. How far will he be behind Vuntz is going to be an interesting question. It might give us an indication as to whether or not is he within 28 seconds? Oh, it's just about, you know, it's about on the money. So if Vuntz can get 1 or 2 quick laps in, or just quick laps in until Chicano stops, we could see him on the podium. So it might just be eyes on Vuntz for now. Slicker, fresh from his stop, is going to try and hound Danny's Mercedes. It's a good showing from Slicker. And now Spence is going to come under more pressure. He's got Marty and Archie behind him. So Ferrari and an Audi both wanting that place. So as we see a lot of contrasting lines through there. Marty has a chance. Is he going to be the first to try around the outside of 12? No one's trying it. I'm a bit disappointed, lads. Oh, there's some contact. Is that going to allow Archie through? No. Yeah, I'm a bit disappointed, lads. One of my favourite ever moves I did was around the outside of 12. I was hoping someone else would do it. But it seems no one wants to. how long until Marty is past that Mercedes. That's going to be down the inside for Marty, is it? Does he have to back out? He does. Getting through that first section, just not quite the room. Here we go, Mr. Kexalski and Chicano in the pits. There's Vance. Vance is coming around 15. There goes Mr. Kexalski. And I suspect Chicano is gonna just have it. Unless Vance can do anything with the overspeed, they're gonna be coming out the pits now. It's gonna be close. And Vance has just got the Lamborghini. So, it is now Vance on the podium. Vance is driving incredibly well. Chicano has 7 laps to try and retake his podium place, but also not lose out to Pren, which is a possibility. Well, corners like that aren't going to help Pren. Spence has reopened his gap to Marty a little bit into the 59s. Archie has dropped off these two a little bit at 2:19 in the last lap. So some sort of mistake dropping him off. But it looks like the main fight is gonna be for that final podium spot. And can Mr. Kexalski get the outlap of his life, or outlaps, to try and undercut this man for P1? Schwantz will fully know that he has to do some quick laps. Surprised he didn't pit to respond and keep track position. As well we know, Mr. Kexalski's fast as a 57 too. So if he can do times like that again, he's not going to this time because it's an outlap. Of course, in the few laps remaining, Mr. Kexalski does have to take time out because it seems that the pit lane loss is about 28-ish seconds. So it doesn't look like he has enough just now. But can the championship leading Mercedes take his title with a win? Because, I mean, he's got 30 seconds to Danny, so Mr. Kexalski's gonna be champion, barring anything crazy happening, like him stacking his car and retiring, which is unlikely. Also, who is gonna take P3? That is wide from Vance. Could be any one of these. If these two start fighting, that's gonna invite Pren in. Vance has gone wide. He's gonna have to slow down surely. He already has a penalty. 1 second. Chicano has had a good run out of 12. doesn't chase the slipstream. And Schwantz is in. He should hold his lead. Try and keep an eye on the map. Yeah, he started moving. Mr. Gazalski is halfway between 15 and 16, so he's going to keep his lead. How big will the gap be, though? Will it be about the same as before? If anything, it looks like the gap is extended, if anything. Or Chicano doesn't have to try too much, knowing that Vance has 2 seconds. But he also needs to make sure that if he sits behind the Mercedes, he doesn't invite Pren. Yeah, 2 minute 2, that's not quite the pace. Sorry, 2 minute 1, that's not quite the pace he was doing pre-pit stop. Or pre-passing these guys, it was 1:58. 2 minute 2 is probably the reason Mr. Gazalski didn't get Schwantz out the pits. Struggled on his outlap. 3.5 seconds. Can he do anything with 5 laps to go? Can Chicano do anything about Vance? He's certainly trying. He'll know that as it stands he has the P3, but he'll want to do it on track. Slicker not able to finish his pursuit of Danny. Spence and Marty are starting to go at it. The gap between Mr. Gazalski and Schwantz has come down. It's broken 3 seconds. Are we going to get a last lap shootout between the 2 Mercedes drivers with 1 minute 57.4s? I suggest we will. If Mr. Gazalski can do that for the last 5 laps, or 4 laps for him. As Marty almost tries a dive bomb into 14. Might have opened up a door though. A door that he hasn't been able to put his Ferrari into. He's had a good run out of 16 though. Which car is going to have more grunt? You would suggest Mercedes. Can Marty go around the outside? He's going to try it. But Spence shuts the door on him. I think Chicano should be alright from Pren with 2 seconds in hand. Vance is going to rue his penalties if they cost him a podium position after the fact. I'm sure he probably won't care as much if Chicano beats him on track. But I think his main concern should be trying to stay ahead of Pren after his penalty is applied. Because with 2 seconds as it is, and there's 10 for Cart and Danny, so Car, if he can open up a little bit more to Slicker, should be fine. Danny, however, is in line to drop to 11th. Never mind, Archie got a penalty of his own. but it'll be interesting to see where the positions shake up post-race. So many penalties. The driver's not a fan of the track limits around here. But onto the back straight. There's 2.5 laps to go. There is the chasing car of Mr. Exalski. You can see Evans and Chicano. The Lamborghini trying to chase some slipstream. I think Chicano might just be happy to take the P3 off track. Maybe he's trying to help Vance. Say, I'm not going to pass you so you can keep your place on Pren. I think Chicano is going to stay there for now and try and just keep within the 2 seconds. Marty hasn't been able to do anything about Spence as he heads on to lap 29. There's a few corners from lap 29. Now a lap and sort of 3/4 to go. Looks like Schwantz is going to keep it, especially with Mr. Exalski's penalty. Doesn't look like any of the on-track positions are going to change. This is the most likely to. In fact, Marty is passed. So he has got past the Mercedes. So one did change. I don't see Slicker getting Danny, and I can't say I see Chicano getting Funtz. No opening for Chicano there. Any opening into 10. Doesn't look like it's gonna happen. I think we were 1 or 2 laps away from a showdown. But with just 2 corners to go, and 1 to go, Schwantz is gonna win the race and put himself in the fight for P2, as he does win the race. And unless there's some crazy double points rule I don't know about, Mr. Kakzalski is your champion of Season 15. Vance will cross the line 3rd, but will be demoted to 4th. Chicano takes the podium, Pren 5th. A car is going to come around to take 6th place over the line. Everyone doing quite a bit of celebrating. Danny is going to hold off Slicker, but has a sizable penalty. Slicker will go up to P7. Over anyone further behind, can they take Danny's place? Marty does not. Nor Spence takes Marty's place, actually. Archie will stay P11, and Berno will round it out with P12. So, like I say, unless there's some crazy double points rule at the final race that I'm not aware of, Mr. Kakzalski is champion of this season, just over 1 hour of racing. And Schwantz wins with Mr. Kakzalski and Chicano completing the podium. A good drive from Mr. Kakzalski, with the starting last but 1 after Slicker failed to set a time, but Slicker also recovering well to P7. And well, in the final rounds, I think Danny's going to have to look out, or final round at Indianapolis, Danny's going to have to look out for Schwantz, as they are going to be just sort of, 7 or 8 points apart in the championship. So again, we thank you for watching. We're not going to get a final race shootout for the title like last season, but still a lot to play for. And well, we hope you join us next week when we settle all those remaining possessions at Indianapolis.